Good afternoon and welcome to our webinar, SiPass Integrated Introduction. My name is Jeff Rushton and I'll be your presenter for today. So it's great that you guys could join us. Just a bit of housekeeping before we get started. You'll see that you're currently muted. If you could remain this way for the duration of the webinar, that would be great. If you have any questions, please type them here and click send, and I will attempt to answer them if time permits. Else I will email you the answer after the webinar. And if we have any handouts, and there are handouts today, you can download them from here. So let's take a bit of a quick look at the history of SiPass. But just before we start, we'll have a look at a first world problem with the pronunciation of SiPass. So SiPass is the name given to the product by Siemens, and being German, they pronounce their S's as C's. So you're going to hear a lot of people, when they talk about SiPass, will call it SiPass. And other less educated people like myself will say SiPass. So I may call it by either name today. It's totally going to be dependent on my mood and if I get caught out. So with that out of the way, back in the good old days, in fact in the early 80s, a company called ASCO developed a single door controller and a bunch of other products. Sometime later, I believe it was in the 90s, ASCO was purchased by Landis and Stapler. Then in 1998, Siemens purchased this company and then they took control of the SiPass product and its future development. In 2015, Siemens sold off its security products division to Vanderbilt International. And this included all of the SiPass hardware, but Siemens kept the software development. So today, Vanderbilt is in charge of the hardware development, its manufacture and distribution, and Siemens continue the software development as it's done for many years at their facility in Macquarie Park in New South Wales. So that's both for the Australian and the world market. So needless to say, the relationship between these two companies is very high. It's also important to note that SiPass was for many years exclusive to Siemens Security, and no other company at that stage had access to the product. About 5 years ago, this all changed and it was opened up to distribution. In Australia, Alarm Corp is the distributor for SiPass, as well as Siemens themselves. Alarm Corp appoint a number of system integrators to install and service the SiPass integrated range of products. And we're always looking for new companies to further enhance the SiPass experience in Australia. So I know there's a lot of technical people on today's webinar, but please note that today it's purely a brief helicopter view of the product, and it doesn't tackle any of the features in any detail. If I have enough demand for future webinars, then we'll delve a bit deeper into some of the key features of SiPass Integrated. So what is it? Firstly, it's an extremely powerful and flexible access control system with many advanced security management features. It has advanced card management, alarm handling, and video surveillance interface, and complete event logging, all in a single system. It supports a broad range of readers of various technologies and various manufacturers. Also has an intuitive design software that's easy to use and administer, as well as support for offline doors. And if you haven't done so already, now would be a great time to download the brochures from that Goto webinar control panel that I showed you earlier. Where can it be used? It's designed for organizations of all sizes, with operations on one or multiple sites. It's for facilities with access control needs that range in complexity from medium to very high. And it's ideal both for existing facilities or newly constructed buildings. It operates on any existing IT environment using TCP/IP over WAN or LAN. So how does SiPass Integrated work? It works via a powerful combination of hardware and software components. The system can be set up to monitor doors and/or elevators with a full complement of access control features. It has secure data transmission from the ID card to the server, and it provides a consistently high level of security. SiPass meets or exceeds all the current security requirements or protocols demanded by IT departments, even in the most secure environments. SiPass works with all types of technologies of readers and/or biometrics, and it has generic biometric support for a select range of fingerprint readers inbuilt. It has intelligent controllers that communicate peer-to-peer, so system operation is unaffected if the server fails. And system integrity is ensured by a process of automatic backup and restore of the system database and events. And offline doors can also be integrated into the system. The basic components that make up every system include at least one advanced central controller, or ACC, a door module, which is the interface between the ACC and the reader, maybe some input-output modules, and of course readers like OSDP, smart card, 256K proximity, MagStripe, biometrics, the list goes on. And of course, the cards or tags that go along with them. All SiPass software is Windows certified. So basically, you can expect the system to run as intended without any nasties. SiPass has virtually unlimited capacity, so no site should ever be too large, and SiPass has the ability to integrate with pretty much virtually any other system, any other third-party system out there. SiPass comes with many features inbuilt in the core product. It's important to note also that no SMAs are available for SiPass, which ultimately means there's no ongoing costs. You buy the software, you own the software. You can receive any new bug fixes for free, and when a new release is available, you don't need to do anything if you don't require any of the new features. And if you did want to upgrade to grab some of the new features, the cost is an inexpensive fixed amount multiplied by the number of workstations that you have enabled. So you're not disadvantaged if you have a large site with lots of card readers or lots of users on site as well. So the main core features, I'll just read them as they're listed on the diagram here. Time scheduling, graphic status screen, alarm response windows, full archiving and restoral, a very advanced reporting tool, audit trails, alarm management, anti-passback and roll call, workgroup anti-passback, petitioning of operator privileges, escort control, door interlocking, real-time events, log on using your Windows login, 3-rung pin mode, manual override of system events, automated device firmware download. You can do a custom WGAN format as well. It has integration with lots of things, but for the important ones for us are CTEC Cayuga, which is a video VMS system. It has support for all of the Siemens or Vanderbilt 485 and clock and data readers, and then support for just about everything else on the market today. And also event or event-triggered reporting are all part of the core features when you purchase a product. There are a bunch of optional software add-ins that you can purchase as well. So we can add photo ID or image verification, time and attendance, elevator management, guard tour, message forwarding, HR API, visitor management, graphics, MyFair encoding. There is a bunch of options for CCTV or NVR applications. There is an intrusion module, data synchronization tool, an Apogee interface, an MM8000 interface, a management station API, OPC, as well as interface to both Salto and Apereo for offline doors. So SiPass will work in any application of any size, period, whether it was one door or however many you have. SiPass, though, historically works very well in large infrastructure sites like airports and hospitals, and it has strong references in all the areas that are listed here. The key benefits, sort of as mentioned, size is not an issue, no matter how large or small for that matter. Stability. With in excess of 5,000 sites and 22 plus years of experience, you can be pretty confident in the system reliability. It's flexible. It's easy to expand very easily. And integration to new or existing IT infrastructure is pretty fundamental, as well as other third-party systems. Integration with video systems is possible using a variety of software add-ins, which I mentioned a little earlier. There's direct integration for all Siemens badged systems, as well as the CTEC Cayuga, which is our VMS platform, as well as Milestone. And in some cases, the VMS can be used as the head end, which is controlling the SiPass system. Again, with intrusion detection, any Siemens product can integrate, or the SPC panel from Vanderbilt is our preferred panel for intrusion. I conducted a webinar a couple of weeks ago on this panel, so you may want to have a look at that as well. I'll give you the link a little bit later. Siemens has a variety of building management systems, all with connectivity to SiPass. Various software options like the Management Station API and OPC allow connection to other building management systems as well. So when you've got a large user database, it increases your workload to manage access for each of these ever-changing employees. So the integration to the businesses or the company's HR system becomes much more important. And SiPass integrates seamlessly with your ERP or your HR systems. The use of offline or wireless doors is becoming a little bit more popular these days, and SiPass integrates with both the Salto and the ACC Architecture system. These doors operate and program within our system just like any other wired door. And SiPass operates, as I've said, with any standard IT infrastructure, including Active Directory, as well as fully redundant hardware like Marathon, and also virtual environments is supported within SiPass Integrated. So let's have a closer look at the basic architecture of the software and connection. Workstations can have certain tasks, such as a standard operator terminal, or maybe a photo ID terminal, maybe a CCTV enabled workstation, or a guard terminal. The list sort of goes on. The server can be any Windows-based PC, and the size of it really depends on the amount of vents, users, or doors involved. The basic spec for a SiPass server is extremely light on. So basically any current PC could be used to operate a SiPass system, dependent on size. From the server, we have a number of ACCs or IP door controllers on the network. Each ACC has the capacity to handle up to 96 doors and 500,000 card holders. And up to 499 ACCs can be added to a single system. So if you do the math, that equates to a total of 47,904 doors. So it isn't limitless as such, there is a limit. But if you do have an application that has more than 47,000 doors, please come and have a talk to me, as we have a solution that will be able to handle more doors within SiPass if needed as well. So it doesn't stop there. Each of the ACCs hold the entire database for all of its connected devices. So this means that the system can function without the server if required. So let's just say you've set up an event that when a contact trips on one ACC that fires a chain of events on other ACCs, then this will still occur if the server is offline. The server really is only there for system programming and any changes you want to make, for reporting, or for alarm monitoring and action if you need that. A variety of modules can be connected to the ACC via a number of RS485 buses. We call those FLNs, or field level networks. We can add single door controllers called an SRI, a dual controller called a DRI, or an 8-reader interface called a ERI. Get the hang of it? 8-reader interface. Jeff Humer. For inputs and outputs, we also have an 8 I/O board, which has 8 inputs and 8 outputs, an IPM, which has 32 inputs and 4 outputs, or an OPM that has 16 inputs and 16 outputs. There's also a range of other modules that you can see here that are available and shown on the brochures, but aren't generally sold or supported in Australia. So this diagram shows how the field level network operates. Each module is daisy chained to each other on up to 6 different RS485 ports on the ACC. So we can see here that on one FLN, we've got a couple of dual reader interfaces and a couple of input or output modules. On another one, we have an ERI and a DRI connected. So with our new IP door controller, it also has got one FLN bus for I/O modules as well, as we can see here. Note though, at the time of this webinar, the IP door controller only works with OS DP readers. Shortly, it's going to be enhanced to work with all the reader types currently supported within SiPass. So we can happily combine standard ACCs and IP door controllers in any configuration on site, as shown here. If we drill down and have a look at the door connections, we can see that each door controller has connections for the following: your reader, to be expected, your door strike, your door input monitoring read, your egress device, and then depending on the module and how you've configured it, it may also have spare input zones or spare outputs that can be freely programmed. So in the current slide, the example that I'm showing here, the DRI, or the dual reader interface, is using an entry and exit reader on the same door. So in this example, we have 3 spare inputs as well as a spare output that we can use for anything that we want. And this diagram shows more of the complete architecture of how the system would look. So we have our Ethernet, our server and our ACCs and our IP door controllers hanging off that, and any of our workstations, regardless of the type that we have. Typically these days, anything that's controlled by OPC is on your Ethernet, as well as any NVRs or CCTV system, or even your intrusion systems as well. Hanging off those FLNs are your door interface devices and your input-output modules. So I said earlier, where SiPass is typically installed. So for the purpose of comparison and understanding what the current SiPass user base is, we're going to drill down a little bit into who uses SiPass and how they use it. So it's certainly used in all of these vertical markets that are shown. The figures here are the actual breakdown of the market segments for every installed SiPass system. This breakdown is both really useful and also at the same time absolutely useless. So let me explain why I've said that. Because it shows that, in this case, that commercial offices are by far the largest segment for installations. And this happens obviously to be true. I've got the figures up here. But a commercial office might be a small, it might be a 10 reader system. It could be a 100 reader system. But we'll just see how it's prominent in this particular segment. But it may not necessarily be overly large. One of SiPass's key segments is hospitals and universities. But notice how far they're way down on this particular list. And there's a few reasons for that, but the main two is, firstly, there's far fewer of these sites in the world than offices. And secondly, that these sites are typically 10 or 15, 20 times the size of a commercial office system. So one university may be worth that of 100 commercial sites. So regardless of that, nevertheless, it's probably still a good way of showing the breakdown of SiPass installations around the world. If we add up all of those sites, we come up with these figures. So there's in excess of 5,000 sites that has SiPass integrated, controlling more than 400,000 doors, in excess of 18 million cardholders, over more than 25,000 controllers on the system. And when we average that out to find your average SiPass integrated site, we come up with that your average site has got in excess of 2,700 card holders, nearly 60 doors. A client is a workstation where you program it, so there is 2 or more workstations on site. There are more than 4 of the ACC controllers and approximately 7 additional options that have been purchased with the base core software. So the average SiPass integrated site is a reasonable site over every single installation that's currently out there. I'm going to continue my theme from the last few webinars that I've done. These are a few of the things that I like about SiPass. A little disclaimer, my view may or may not represent the views of Alarm Corp, Siemens or Vanderbilt. I'm just saying. First thing, it's proven. It's been around for a long time, and SiPass integrators constantly tell us how bulletproof the product is. So it's extremely reliable. Unlimited capacity, pretty much. No one's ever going to outgrow a SiPass site. It integrates to tons of systems out there. But for Alarm Corp, SPC and CTEC are 2 of the most important ones from our perspective. The new IP door controller has really been, it's only been out since the beginning of this year. It's very much long overdue and now means that we have a cost-effective way of handling full intelligence at the door. The list of references is impressive, both in Australia and worldwide for this system. And funnily enough, the pricing is more than competitive, certainly more competitive than you would think. Actually, maybe this is where I should have put in the disclaimer. There's a bunch of things that I maybe don't like as much about the product. One of the things is it has lots of legacy components within the software. And that makes the menu not as easy to navigate as I would like. I suppose the upside of that is if you are using an old feature, the beauty is it's still supported within the current software. Next, the graphics on this system are very much old school, and that needs to be replaced. It needs to be upgraded. Similar to the first point that I've said, the menu structure for the installer is not overly intuitive. For the end user, it's fine because it can be streamlined to include only the things that the customer needs to do. But for the integrator, you need to be a little bit more experienced to work your way through the menu system. Also, the web client is relatively new. It's been out in the last couple of versions, and it doesn't do very much at the moment. So it's not overly useful except for things like card management and venue booking. In time, that will improve, and the user interface will be, I think, greatly improved. But at the moment, it doesn't do a lot, so just be wary of that. So why should I be using SiPass Integrated? There still is a constant development of the product, and it is extremely stable. It has flexible software options pretty much for any purpose, including excellent reporting. The SMS also combines many different disciplines together into the single system. So your intrusion, your access control, your video management, all in the one. It's cost effective, and it will connect to, I'm going to say, any reader that's currently out there in the market today. Just seeing how we're going for time. We might spend just a couple of minutes with a quick demo of the web interface, because I'm doing pretty good. I'll just bring this up here. So hopefully you can see the web interface for the system that I have here in the office. Unfortunately, this is on a small screen, so I do have to scroll to get to certain tasks. As I've said, one of the main functions here is to manage card holders. The beauty from the web interface is you don't obviously have to install any software, and we can immediately start up new workstations with the web interface in order to program or manage card holders within the system. I've got only a few cards here that we can see. Let's go down to me. We can see the basic details of myself here, validity periods, any features that I have. In this particular case, I am booked in the venue management system for various meetings over the course of the next month that you can see listed here. I can look in to see what work groups or what fingerprint profiles or what smart card data that I have stored for my particular profile. We have many fields that we can pick from or add for personal information into the system. This is all fully configurable. We can track the last time that this card was presented, or we can turn on card trace so it will report in all of the audit logs. If I do have elevator control, it will show me the floors, show me my photo, or signature if I have those stored with the system. The ability to print a ID card when I pick a card template that I've designed previously. So all of those things can be viewed or edited directly from your web client. We also have the ability, which a lot of systems don't have, is a venue booking facility. And what that is we have access control on, let's say, certain meeting rooms. And it's like a reverse access control system. In this case, the user is the person that can book a meeting room by clicking on venue booking and reserving a room that has access control attached to it. In this case, when it populates, we'll see quite a few bookings that have currently been made. A sales meeting each month for the next quite a while, a technical meeting every week. To start a new venue booking, we give it a name. SiPass training. We pick the venue. I've only got one venue, meeting room in this case. When we want that meeting to occur, this Friday, 8 AM, and finish. It's going to go all day. From here then, we add our attendees. We can add people that you're inviting along to the meeting. It will list all card holders. We can search by any of these fields, and then we select the people in question. I'm the organizer, so I want to add me. There is the person responsible for the booking of this meeting room, assuming that I have the ability to do that. And from here, is this going to be a reoccurring or a once-off meeting? In this case, it's going to be once off, and we can create that booking. On a typical booking, this would now email the people that I've invited along to attend that meeting so they can add it to their calendar. and only their cards will work in that meeting room between 8 and 5 p.m. on the scheduled day. So a nice little feature that is sitting here with your web client view. We can also from here manually override doors, alarm points. We basically can control the whole system at a fundamental level. So from here we can open a door, lock a door, straight from this interface. We can add visitors, much the same as a card holder. We can manipulate the system with our access levels and access groups by displaying all of our access levels that are on our system. I don't have very many, as you can see. It's telling me that my all door group is on a time schedule that operates 24 hours a day, and these are the doors that are in that access level. I can hit edit and then add additional doors, change the time schedule, and hit save if need be. The same applies to access groups. I don't have any of those on my system. We can configure our meeting rooms if we wanted to add more, and we have the ability here to design a credential that can be printed out with whatever details that we want from the user details screen. We can view and action alarms to some degree from here as well, but ultimately this is the look and feel of the current web interface for the latest version, which is 2.75 currently. I logged on previously with my login name. I can make this go full screen as well to get rid of anything else. So that's just really a very brief look at how the web interface looks and feels. So if you'd like to know more, I'd recommend that you visit alarmcorp.com.au and you can download our brochures and data sheets from there. From there, you can also subscribe to our Alarm Corp Pulse newsletter, or you can register online to gain access to our e-commerce platform where you can get your pricing, place orders, or download technical manuals as well. Or you can contact myself or Chris Ireland. Alarm Corp is very active on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Flipboard, and Instagram. So either like or search for Alarm Corp on any of those. I will show you our YouTube site very quickly when this loads up. The reason being is this is where all of our previous webinars are stored, as well as every video that we've got access to within our company. When it loads, it's taking a few seconds. We can scroll down and see all sorts of product videos, but in my case, I want to show you our CCT webinars, our intrusion webinars, our seismic webinars, our perimeter products webinars when that loads, and our access control webinars. This is where this one's going to be. Later this afternoon, it will be uploaded to this site. So YouTube, search for Alarm Corp, and then subscribe to our page so you can be updated when any of that information changes. So I'd like to thank you for joining us today. I hope it was beneficial to you, and certainly hope to see you again at one of our future webinars. So for now, have a great afternoon and goodbye.